Chris here with Dash Cancel, and I'm standing beside a legend. If you don't know who he is, he's spread so much joy throughout many, many people's childhoods and more, and I don't even know where to begin, so let's start with a name. How about Charlie Adler?
Charlie Adler, hi.
How's everything going?
Good, thank you. Well,
glad for you to be here today at the Lexington Comics and Toy Convention, and let's get right into it while we got a second. I mean, let's Buster Bunny right off the bat. I mean, how did you get involved? How did you want to jump on it? I mean,
well, I live in Los Angeles. That's where they cast everything for animation for the most part. Some in New York. And I had an agent who just said they're doing this new series, Receiving Spielberg, auditioned for it. I auditioned for it. They changed the idea of the character several times. I auditioned again, I auditioned again, I auditioned
really?
again.
Wow.
And it took, I might be off on the timing, but it might have taken maybe 6 weeks before they made up their mind, or 2 months.
Oh, wow.
And then my agent called me. She said, we would have lunch a lot. She said, meet me for lunch between gigs. And I did, and she was there with her husband, and we ordered, and she ordered some wine, and she said, you want some wine? I said, yes. And she said, and we always toast each other, and she said, I hope you have a wonderful day, Buster Bunny. And I went, what?
Oh, man.
So it was kind of nice.
I would have been starstruck.
I said, hiya, Toots. Rub it in.
I'm losing it.
Where was we?
We were talking about you at a lunch date, and your lady friend was like, have a good lunch, Buster Bunny.
Yeah, that was my agent. Yeah.
Oh, your agent. I can't believe it. Like I own him. I've watched him a million times. Like, what made you come up with that particular voice? And
I don't ever approach anything like it's a voice. They're really, I don't care if they're a talking toilet or a rabbit. It's an acting job. They have a personality. There's certain things that they do and need and want, and I don't think about it as a voice. It's a person. So for me, it was. I mean, he had to be an adolescent. He had to be a little smart-assy, but he. I don't know. It just, all the information they gave me, that's what I came up with. And then they would tweak things. They'd say, well, maybe can he sound younger, or can he not sound this? And by the time we're all done with it, everybody agreed.
That's amazing. Oh, absolutely. Have to talk Rocco, because obviously I'm a huge fan. What did you think about working on that show?
I loved that show.
I think the writing on it was just outstanding.
Hilarious. And we just did a Rocco reunion movie, which we've recorded already, and they're holding it. I don't know why they're holding it, but it's really funny.
I didn't know that.
Really good. And we hadn't been together, in a very long time. And Tom Kenny over there, SpongeBob, who is Heifer, and a million other characters. For us to get together and do it in the same room was wonderful, because when I originally had done the series, I was so busy doing other shows, I recorded by myself. And I didn't have the time to sit with the whole cast.
Interact with them.
So, yeah. So for me, this was such a thrill, because it was Carlos, I was Rocky, Tom Kenny, Mr. Lawrence, Doug Lawrence, and me. And we, they reprised all our other characters, too. So, I did Mr. Dupat and Grandpa Wolf and all of the weird ones, and Tom the same, and Carlos the same, and Mr. Lawrence the same. And we had 2 days where we just sat in an enclosed room like a padded cell of mental hospital patients and laughed our asses off.
Why was this not recorded?
It was.
Oh, man. I would pay good money to see that.
I think it was also filmed somewhere. We're gonna do it. And they were all shocked, because I'm not known for my patience. And particularly when I was younger, I was like, get me out of here. I was watching them get impatient, and I'm older than everybody, so I was just kind of sitting back going, finally they get it. Finally they get why I was so cranky.
Right. Yeah.
And now I'm not. Now I'm just going to laugh at it. Go, good, let them do it.
Yeah, and it comes with, as many voices as you've done now. I mean, the experience and the patience. I mean, that's a great thing to have. Is there any role in particular that you said you had a lot of love for Rocco. Is there one that just always sticks out in your head?
Cow from Cow and Chicken.
Yeah?
I love...
Oh, Papa.
I love Cow. I love Cow. And I love the red guy a lot. And Ickis from My Real Monsters. I love him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, another one. I need
So
to,
neurotic and upset about everything all the time.
you're gonna make me like just completely melt, man. Hearing this, like just for myself, I'm losing it right now. I just.
Well, I loved him, and it's always nice for them to sort of wash through me again. You know, Christine Cavanaugh, who was Oblina, was one of my dearest friends on earth, and she's passed. She passed a couple years ago, and but I also directed the series Rugrats for 7 years, and I won an Emmy for that. And I, just to direct Chris, after having worked in Ah Real Monsters with her, she was an amazing creature. She was the most brilliant actor ever, and an amazing friend, and she is dearly missed. She was Babe. She was original Chucky on Rugrats.
Right, yeah.
Oblina, she was in lab, Dexter's lab. She was Dexter.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes.
She was so prolific and wonderful. She was Gosling on Darkwing Duck, and that girl was. I met her on Darkwing Duck, and I couldn't believe this beautiful, this gorgeous woman comes in and knocks it out of the park. And she was so young. I mean, I think I had brown hair at the time. I was young too. And she was so beautiful.
So I'm actually ashamed, as big as a Rugrats fan as I am, to know that you directed a lot of it and won it. Like, man, that's so awesome. Darkwing Duck. Trying to think, who did you do on Darkwing?
I think I was guesting a lot. I didn't have a regular character.
Okay, I was about to say, because my mind's about to be blown again.
Yeah, I don't remember most of my career, to tell you the truth. I don't remember.
Oh, come on now.
No, I don't. I mean, because I don't think about it. It's my job. I don't think about it. I don't walk around the earth thinking, oh, gee, aren't I swell? Look what I did. I'm thinking about my dogs and traffic and, when am I going to have my martini? And
oh yeah. So let's move into that. How life now? You said that there's a Rocko reunion. How's everything going now? With what are some upcoming things that you got going on?
I've been directing a series called Blaze and the Monster Machines. We're in our 5th season. I'm directing a show called Monster Beach coming out for Cartoon Network. I'm directing Kaylee Cuoco for Big Bang Theory in Harley Quinn for Warner Brothers. That's going to come out. I know, and I can't even think of what the heck I'm doing. Mark Hamill, I directed him. He just got nominated for an Emmy for a show I directed him in, Kulapari.
Yeah.
On Netflix. I directed Kung Fu Village for Amazon, and I'm directing a project for DreamWorks that I'm not allowed to talk about. I'm a new guest villain on, Rocketeer for Disney, and I'm doing MODOK for Spider-Man again.
Right.
I'm busy.
That's an understatement. How do you have time for the martini?
That's why I need the martini.
Absolutely.
Time for that.
I'll definitely keep a lookout for everything. And like I said, it's just hard for me to do this because you just so much of my childhood. Got to end it with SWAT Kats. It's always a favorite of mine. Is there anything about the show that you vaguely want to share?
Yeah. I met some of the most important people in my life on that show. And one was an actor named Brock Peters. And he, for those of you who don't know, he was the man on trial in the movie To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yes.
And he, till he died, called me his son, and I called him my father.
Oh, wow.
He was so profound in my life, as was his wife. And that's where we met. And I met people like Roddy McDowell, who became friends. When you're working in an environment that's just playful and friendly, people are so available and accessible. And,
right.
That was a miraculous time for me because I was still fairly new to it. I probably was I think I got to LA in my late 20s, and so I probably was about 30, 31, 32, and it was all exciting and new for me at the time.
Right.
I couldn't believe who I was working with every day. And Hanna-Barbera, those years at Hanna-Barbera, on the Smurfs, I became friends with Jonathan Winters and
oh, wow.
Brenda Vaccaro, and there were people, because we were just in the sandbox like idiot children together. Mel Blanc was my father on Captain Caveman and Son. I was KV Jr. I mean, I just had these.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I've had these amazing experiences, and it was such a hotbed of just joy. All the people on Laughing. Henry Gibson was a dear, dear friend of mine as a result of working together.
Right.
It's hard to describe because, you know, I've always said, I'm just going to work. I'm going to work. When I was doing plays in New York, I'm going to work. I didn't say, I'm going to the theater. And I don't say in LA, I'm going to the studio. When I hear people say that, it bugs me. I don't know why. But I'm going to work. So for me, work was, I'm going to the factory, making what I make. And as a result, while it was exciting and thrilling for me, it was also my job, which I take very seriously.
Right.
And then I had colleagues that I loved and respected, and I felt it back from them.
You ended up meeting more or less family members throughout the years and along the way.
Yeah, and that's what they became. It was just people I saw every day that I went to work with. I mean, you go to work and you make family, right? I mean, everybody.
Absolutely.
I mean, everybody has their job, and they go to work, and if they're lucky, they work with people they're crazy about. And most of the experiences I had were of that nature, and I'm so lucky.
Yeah, it is very lucky. Sometimes it doesn't work out like that in the workplace. So.
That's true. That's very true. You're right. And I've had some like that.
I'd say, yeah.
And I would rather never give them the energy by talking about it.
Absolutely. Keep it all positive.
Yeah, next is what I say. Next. Yeah, can't live on, man.
Charlie, thank you so much. I'm like I said, I'm starstruck more or less, but keep making memories for families. My family, like I said, you know, my son and my other son. You know, I made them watch Tiny Toons. I was like, you can't be a kid and just not watch Tiny Toons, you know. And I made them watch Rocco just because of my love for it, and I'm very happy to hear about the reunion. I've always wondered, this is a question I've had for somebody that has as many characters under his belt. Can you mix voices on the fly?
What do you mean mix them?
Like start with Buster, jump into Rocco, jump into
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Where have you went, cow? I'm chicken.
I'm the red guy.
I'm Starscream. Ed!
Oh, Bethany.
I'm Buster. Hi, Toots.
Yeah, you did it. I mean, it wasn't even like it was just second nature to you. I mean, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much, and have a good Comic-Con. And
thanks. Good luck with your podcast and your
yeah.
broadcast.